Um, South Africa is a movie. We live in a drama. It's a series. Every day you will be shocked by something new.
We should be teaching these people what's going on in South Africa right now and how they should vote. Not just bashing them, calling them desperate, poor and struggling. And they shouldn't vote. No. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that. These are our grandmothers and our grandfathers that we are talking about. No. Our grandmothers and our grandfathers, that's what I'm saying. They are the ones who are voting using their hearts, because it makes sense for them to vote using their hearts instead of their logic. What we need to do is to try and have organizations that go into communities to teach elderly people about the state of our country, to teach elderly people about GNU, to teach elderly people about the things that the ANC is doing that are not good for the country, so that they can actually understand that no, yes, this party, the ANC, helped liberate us. But then what they are doing now is not good for the country. That is what we need to be doing. Not calling those people desperate, poor and struggling, and then they should not vote. No.
We cannot let ignorant, poor, struggling, desperate people vote because they don't know what they're voting for. And they get co-opted with promises of one day Nizobusa. One day Jesus will come back. No. Similarly, it cannot be that we don't have a system where if the person in power has too much power and does not want to listen to reason and does not want to see what's happening with the people, that person gets to do whatever they want.
Okay, let me reiterate that. We cannot let struggling, black, poor people vote because they don't know what they are voting for. You know, I can agree with that point. But I don't think that's the approach we should be taking when we are talking to South Africans. No, you can't be speaking about South Africans like this, because if you're going to talk about struggling, desperate, poor people in South Africa, you are talking about black people. You are talking about us, because we are the ones who are struggling. We are the ones who are poor. We are the ones who are desperate. So when you are saying we should not let people like that vote, you are basically saying we should not let the majority of South Africans vote. And I can understand where that whole narrative comes from, because the majority of South Africans has been voting for the ANC. Black South Africans have been voting for the ANC, even though we can see that the ANC is doing nothing for the country. It's just a whole bunch of corrupt people who are looting money. We can see that. You know, but the people have been voting for the ANC, which means the people is talking about that are struggling, poor and desperate, that shouldn't be voting, are the ones who've been voting all this time. Which simply means he's talking to black people. But I don't think this is the way we should be approaching this situation. Because when you speak like this, you are trying to make yourself look better, as if you are better than the people you are talking about, when you are not better at all. There are many reasons that cause South Africans to continue voting for the ANC, even though the ANC is just a bunch of people who are doing nothing for the country. There's a whole lot of reasons why. And to be ignorant to a point where you are going to call those people desperate, poor, struggling, and they shouldn't vote, I don't think it's the approach. What you should be doing, if you have a platform that South Africans are watching, the very South Africans, the poor, struggling South Africans that are watching, you should be trying to motivate those people. Those poor, struggling, desperate people. What you need to be doing with your platform is to encourage those people to learn about politics, to learn about how a country is ran efficiently, to learn about how they can vote using their logic and not their emotions. You should be teaching those people what they need to be doing, not just putting them on the spotlight and saying that these people are not supposed to be voting. No, everyone has a right to vote. What you need to be doing is to teach these people how to vote correctly. Not to bash them and call them desperate, poor, struggling people who are not supposed to be voting. That thing is offensive. I really don't understand whether this man Penuel doesn't see that this thing is like an offense to many South Africans, if not majority of South Africans. And I can tell you that many South Africans, it's not their fault that they are using their hearts to vote instead of the mind, instead of logic. It's not their fault. If you can look at all the people who've been voting for the ANC all these years, are elderly people. People in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s. They are the ones who are voting for the ANC. And why are they voting for the ANC? They are voting for the ANC because the ANC to them is the only political party that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? Well, us, the young people and other people out there who are older, even some elderly people who are just politically aware, can see that actually ANC is a problem for South Africa currently. Yes, they helped liberate our country. But then currently what they are doing is just nonsense. Some people can see that. But for some people who didn't get the opportunity to go to school, like our grandmothers and our grandfathers, those that were liberated by the ANC, they still have that attachment to the ANC. That's why they continue voting for it, because they don't understand the DA. When they look at the DA, they just see the National Party that, was beating them during apartheid, that was doing a whole lot of things to them during apartheid. They just see the National Party. That is why they don't vote for the DA. And when they look at these other small political parties, the EFF, the DA, these other political parties, the Patriotic Alliance, these all small parties, they don't make sense to them. You get what I'm saying? Because to them, the only real thing, the thing that took them out of the struggle is the ANC. So they have some sort of emotional attachment to the ANC. It's not their fault. You get what I'm saying? And most of these people, the elderly people that I'm talking about, they are not even online. They are not even online to see videos like this one. No, they are not online. So they don't see anyone who is actually teaching them that no, the ANC is actually damaging the country. No. So calling those people poor, desperate people who are not supposed to be voting, I don't think it's the correct approach. They have the right to vote. We have the right to vote. We should be teaching these people what's going on in South Africa right now and how they should vote. Not just bashing them, calling them desperate, poor and struggling, and they shouldn't vote. No. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be doing that. These are our grandmothers and our grandfathers that we are talking about. No. Our grandmothers and our grandfathers, that's what I'm saying. They are the ones who are voting using their hearts, because it makes sense for them to vote using their hearts instead of their logic. What we need to do is to try and have organizations that go into communities to teach elderly people about the state of our country, to teach elderly people about GNU, to teach elderly people about the things that the ANC is doing that are not good for the country, so that they can actually understand that no, yes, this party, the ANC, helped liberate us, but then what they are doing now is not good for the country. That is what we need to be doing, not calling those people desperate, poor and struggling, and then they should not vote. No. These people are not dumb. I'm telling you, our grandmothers and our grandfathers who keep on voting for the ANC and these people who are not doing anything for the country, it's not that they like to vote for these people. They don't actually understand that these people are actually damaging the country. No, in their minds, the ANC, once you say the ANC, is that party that liberated them, is that party that has an emotional attachment to them. That is why they keep continuing voting for these people. They don't know anything better, and it's not their fault. Most of them are elderly people that are not even online to see other political parties, what they are doing. You get what I'm saying? What you need to be doing is to be teaching those poor, struggling, poor, desperate people to not vote with their emotions but use logic. Teach them, tell them that the ANC has been doing this for the past 30 years. The DA has been doing this for the past 30 years. The EFF has been doing this for the past 10 years. The IFP has been doing this for the past 10 years. So when you are looking at these political parties, use your mind to decide which party you are voting for. Don't just vote because the ANC helped liberate you. No, it's not the same ANC anymore. That is what you need to be doing. Teaching these people, not calling them poor, desperate, and whatever you call them. Making them feel less of people, even saying that they shouldn't be voting. No, they should be voting. It's their right. What you need to be doing is to teach them how to vote correctly. Not bashing them. It's our grandmothers and our grandfathers that they are speaking about, that this man is speaking about, calling them poor, desperate, and all of the nonsense he's saying. It's our grandmothers and our grandfathers. You know, I can tell you that personally, my grandmother and my grandfather is still alive. It's just that my father died, but I still have my mother and my grandfather and my grandmother. I can tell you that my mother understands politics. You know, he understands the damage that the ANC is doing to South Africa because she's still young. She's engaged in the internet. You know, she sees videos. That is why she can understand that no, the ANC, what they are doing, no. So when she's going to vote, she doesn't use emotions. She uses the mind because she can understand what's going on in South Africa. But I can tell you that my grandfather and my grandmother are not online here on the internet at all. They don't have Facebook. They don't have anything. They just use their cell phones. They don't even have touch screen cell phones. They just have those cell phones, you know, with buttons. Because they just use those phones to make calls. They don't even know how to send SMSs. You get what I'm saying? So in their minds, the only party that makes sense is the ANC. Because that's the only thing that they understand. And it's not their fault. Nobody is teaching them something different. So I don't think it's a good thing to be calling those people desperate, poor, struggling people who are not supposed to be voting. No, we are supposed to be teaching those people how to vote correctly. Make them aware of the things that are happening here in South Africa, not bashing them and calling them poor, struggling, and desperate. Well, we know that we are poor, we are struggling and desperate as South Africans, but then you don't even need to tell us. We know that. We know that. And it's sad because the people we are talking about won't even see this video. The people who keep on voting using their emotions, they won't even see this video because they are not locked in online. You get what I'm saying? We should be having entities that go to the rural areas to teach elderly people about the state of our country. That is what we need to be doing, not bashing them because they keep on voting for the ANC. But then, that is just what I had in this episode of The Spotlight. So tell me on the comment section down below, what do you think about this entire situation? But then if you just enjoyed this video or you learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. My name is Emmanuel and this is Mzansi Versity, the place where we transform lives through knowledge and information. Let's meet again on another video.